Since Justin has been on board with us at Hard Nose, we have figured out how much Broadhead Decals means to the sport of demolition derby. His great quality parts are seen from coast to coast and everywhere in between.
But he can do more than just derby products. Your everyday business may need some pep in its step with new banners or stickers. And just give him an idea and let him run with it. Whether it's business related or just want to look badass in the winner circle, let Broadhead Decals work for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hard Nose Derby Podcast. What a weekend.
You got lucky. Bowling Green Mo, CDDA,
Leon,
Chad, and their group.
Oh, man. Hospitality, man. Way out of their comfort zone. Not as far as the show, just we ain't Kansas no more.
Yeah. You got hot and dry.
Yes.
I got swamp.
The only way to describe Friday is sticky. I mean, from the track to my ball sack.
Yeah. I was going to say, did your gold bond like dough up a little bit?
Wow.
Make a corn dog?
Well, it was hot enough that like they didn't care if I'd sneak off and have a beer or whatever. I think I drank 5 beers from the time I left my house at 4:30 until I got home at midnight. It was too hot.
Yep. And that's bad. And it's hot when this dude's saying it's too hot to drink beer.
Well, I went up to Leon and I was like, "Hey, man, you got anything to drink?" He's like, "Yeah, I think there's Gatorade." I was like, "Man, water."
Yeah. Yep.
I want water.
Yep.
But I showed up. Again, was welcomed with open arms.
Mm-hmm.
Talked to Leon and Chad. They were coming down to the pits to do the drivers' meeting. Leon's like, "Hey, we're going to use you like a rented mule." And I said, "Well, come on with it." I said, "That's what we're here for." I made my rounds around the pits. Badass cars. Really, really good looking cars for that build. It didn't look like anything was really pushed to the max.
Nope.
They were wanting 20 teams. They got 13.
Yeah, 13 hit the track. Yeah.
That's not bad. I told them next year, I said I'd probably shoot for that 26 teams. You'll end up with your 18 to 20.
Yep.
You know just as well as I do that's how that works, because there was even a couple Fair Board members that had come up to me, and they were like, "Man, it just seems like we're light." And I was like, "Dude, that is a decent turnout. I mean, you're talking 65%.
Mm-hmm. What I like to watch is there was so many varieties.
Old iron, new style,
03s.
Yes,
I mean,
dude, there was old iron Ford.
Mm-hmm.
There was a wagon, an Olds. I mean, 9802s,
yep.
Square bodies. Hell of a mixture, in my opinion, as far as diversity on cars. And I thought it was going to be old iron dominant by the looks of the cars.
Oh, yeah.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
No surprise on who the aggressors were.
No.
Whenever the flag dropped.
No.
What I like about CDDA being here is it's hard for them to play favoritisms in Missouri, because they didn't know any of these guys.
They knew one team.
Yep.
Because they were from Kansas.
Yeah, but they don't run their shows.
Yeah.
Because Leon was like, "Well, here's who I think is going to win it," which he was right. But I told him, I was like, "You need to watch this group. I was like, because I said, I'm not saying Austin and Brock aren't bad dudes. I was like, but there's some other dudes out there that are wheel men.
Yep. But they are.
Track, phenomenal. Which, dude,
Yours was.
yes. Yes. Hey, we're covering night 1. I'll let you cover night 2. Watered about every second heat. Run a strip down the middle. Chad come up to me. He's like, "What do you think about that?" I'm like, "Yeah, that'll keep your heats even, like level, equal across the board." Because we've had people bitch about that before.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was wetter than hell whenever I was out there. Sorry.
Should have built 2 cars.
So first heat pulls on the track. They were kind of feeling out the pace of the show.
Yep.
That's just how it kind of went. Still good heat. That was Landon Wynn,
Matt Chandler.
Matt Chandler, Tyler Verdon, and Danny Hobbs.
Yep.
Hated to see them thrown together right off the bat. Landon was kind of the odd man out in that one because Chandler and all them guys, hell, they're all buddies. Still turned it up, still beating on each other.
Beaten.
Yeah, Hobbs, Verdon pulled dub on that one. Chandler made him earn it because there was a couple times I was like, Chandler, he might
Pull it out.
Yeah. But it was good. If anybody missed it, I did get all the heats Friday night. They are on Hard Nose Facebook page. Big hits in some of them.
Oh, yeah.
Sparks, his team out
Bumper
there.
removal.
His teammate was going, break it off, your bumper's gone. He said, no, I know how to back up. Because his teammate made a weird shot over there on the south end of that track, and his transmission exploded.
Yes, that's on there too.
Yeah, and the welds broke on his seat, and he was like laying upside down in there for a minute. Because I ran out there, I was like, "Man, you all right?" He's like, "Yeah," but you could tell he was like shook up. I would have been too. That is Mr. Whiskey Biz's dad.
Yep.
Which was, I mean, he was in. That was a good looking Lincoln.
It was. Yeah. There was a lot of good looking Lincolns. I mean,
Yeah.
the winner was in one. Second place was in one. And then the Doolittle cars, Doolittle trailers. They were both in Lincolns, and I mean it's
Football window.
yeah.
One of them was
one was a
football
football window. Yeah, it looked good.
We had a couple local guys run, Blake and
We had an ass load of local guys actually.
Blake and Cody.
Cody. Yep.
Austin Friels, he was there.
Yep. With Andrew Jennings.
Yep.
Landon. We
Yep,
already spoke
Landon.
about was with Matt Chandler.
Dustin Kelsey.
Yep. And his teammate Tyler Milner and Tyler Baker.
Yep. Dustin Kelsey took that car up there. He did not have a plate one on it in the heat. That was the only call for the night that I told them that there was any discrepancy on my end with, and nothing against Mr. Lubert because he was turning it up too.
Oh yeah.
But Dustin was one end of that track to the other as hard as that car would go.
Yeah.
It bent in all the right spots, though.
Easy fix.
He got out and was upset, and I was like, Dustin, dude, you have no plates on this car. I said, go fix it. Actually, what I told him was shut up and go fix your car.
Then go fix it.
And he was like, that was bullshit. He was like, they announced it. And I'm like, yeah, that's where the discrepancy came in. It is what it is. You got to move forward.
Yeah.
They're human. People mess up.
That'd be right.
Yeah, because I think Brock and Austin, whenever all that stuff broke loose, both of them were like,
Yeah, they didn't know what's up because that was actually heat of 3.
yeah. Well, because I expected them to be the ones,
The aggressors.
and both of, well, I watched Austin like backed up to me, and he's like he was looking around. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. They're getting all the way insane out there.
Yeah.
All in all, though, killer show. Chad said in the drivers' meeting, he apologized. There was some rule discrepancies. A couple last-minute little edits. He said that will not happen again.
Yep.
He said this is a new class. They're learning as well. He understands that, it put a few people in a bind.
Yeah.
There was some stuff that he didn't like that was inside the rules that will be fixed for next year.
Yes.
Very stand up. I mean, anybody that knows Chad Markley knows that he does this stuff to the best of his ability, and I promise you he's not doing this to get rich.
Not at all.
I asked him if it was making him healthier or if this was extending his lifespan or what.
No, it's not going to extend his lifespan. I promise that.
I did get to kick it with those guys for a little while. He was asking me my opinion on some of the rules, and I was like, man, don't tell anybody you did that. I like where that class is headed. I think it'll be right back to a 6-plate, 4-down tube, pinion brake slider, lower cradle, stock class is what I think. I think that's where it's going to land.
You want to know why? That's the part that gets me. Because what you just said right there, that is a very good build for beginner or somebody that's wanting to back down from the street stock or the light weld. It lets you get a little bit creative.
Lets you use your good parts.
And not get stupid.
Well, and the 18-year-old kid that's building his first car with a little help from somebody that's a veteran, they can be competitive out of the gate. Because there's nothing you can do to those cars. And I know somebody's going to be like, well, there's this, and that. Well, yes, there is. You're going to be on a level playing field.
Because we all know everybody's stretching them. We all know everybody's. That was one of the discrepancies. It's not tilting, it was cold bending.
Right.
As long as the tab's not cut and everybody can see where you cold bend them. And then he can do a 9-inch with 31 spline axles.
Yep.
A good transmission. And a lower cradle and a decent motor and a good bumper.
Yep. And you know what was weird that I didn't see there that I really, really, really expected to see after I read through the rules? I did not see one LS motor with a 4L80 or anything behind it with the firewall still in it. I didn't see it. And really, I mean, way expected.
Something. Somebody. But, when you sit there and look back at all those guys who ran, they're all small block Chevrolets.
Right.
I mean, that's them. They don't have.
Jaden's car, it had an LS in it, but it had a 5-speed behind it. They actually voted him in.
Yep. Uh-oh.
It's Miller time.
Millies.
Like I said, I was impressed. It was a good show. I actually enjoyed it. And, man, they kept the pace. On the track off.
Yeah. Saturday, we just got struck with shit weather. It started raining on the way there.
I told you that.
Yeah. As you were going south. What the struggles that they had to do to even make the show happen. We knew there was roughly 3.5 hours before it was raining again. The youth kids turned it up. The gut and goes turned it up. The street stock turned it up. And then the team show was nothing short of impressive. We just, Rock Hill and Austin Johnson pulled the win off. Me and you talked before actually I was over there, and first thing you said was, let's see how Austin does with transmission. I said, automatic. You said, yep. Well, he did give a shout out today, give him some shout outs. Tony Miller for the motor, Jerry for the GHE tranny. So it's not like he was in a normal, but.
Well, yeah, but I didn't see him abusing it.
No, he did not. He never abused it. Even when he was really turning it up, trying to finish Petey off at the end, he was still waiting before he was grabbing forward, but then he was letting it eat.
Tony's little motor was singing.
It did. It sounded good. It didn't do nothing crazy.
327.
Little James Kitchell put together with Tim's Machine Shop. That just goes to show you guys.
But how many times have we seen Tony? Dude, he's not nice to his stuff.
No, he abuses his shit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that. I mean, because he'll let it eat. Mm-hmm. And headers glowing, flange up. Hey, I ain't right sure if we ain't seen heads glowing.
Yeah.
Don't quit.
Mm-hmm.
Those, which, and I think a lot of it was the track. With those muddy, I mean, we saw some motors. I saw some motors really get hurt Saturday.
Yeah, well, and we've seen it before. The slimy, nasty tracks, they get like that. Especially if you're running a shorter tire, low gear, and a bunch of horsepower.
Mm-hmm. I don't even think you got to have a bunch of horsepower. It's just that, hell, it's never really, unless you're dead stopping, it's not coming under 4,500 RPM.
Right.
And it's just staying up there.
We got to see some pictures of Landon's motor.
That happened right in front of me.
That said goodbye.
Mm-hmm. And it had no inclination that it was going to do it. It just started steaming a little bit, and he jumped on Petey over there in the corner trying to get him out. I mean, completely out, like you can't park there out.
Right.
And it flamed. What's that flame from? I'm starting to look. I was like, well, I don't see nothing on this side.
Scattered it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I can put my fist through the block. That's what it looked like.
I do have to give a shout out to Gary Robertson in the heat. Wow.
Yeah, Chop just kind of had a little unfortunate stuff in the heat, and Gary knew he had to do it himself.
And did it himself, did he?
That he did.
Them old boys, I don't think they realized what was...
No. They didn't know. And that was Oberle's.
Yeah.
So anytime you're talking about an Oberle down from South Missouri,
Did you see the video that I took of their frame rails?
Yeah, I got to see them coming back through Tech on Saturday. They had to go put horns on them.
Oh yeah, whenever I left, they were putting a horn on each car.
Yeah, they actually ended up going to between Harrisburg and Sturgeon, Missouri. Get it on a frame rack to put said horns on. When one of them came through the Tech, the other one was still burning wire, trying to get the horn at least somewhat placent.
Yeah.
to run. Dude, that's devotion.
Yeah, because I would have been like, just put them on tap.
Yeah, load it. What you're saying? Load this piece of shit and I'll drink beer?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Hey, sport needs fans too, boy. But, man, I think they had a good show. I think everybody was happy. I know that there's a few of the hobo guys, the hobo compact guys, that weren't real happy with the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have that.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I hate to see that those two didn't get to run. Cody Meyer and Austin.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into what I got told.
Yeah.
That's for...
They can sort that out.
Yeah. But guess what?
If it's one story, that sucks. If it's the other one, do better.
Yeah. 24-hour build. First time I've ever seen him in a little car. And Garrett Baker pulled another one off.
That dude don't miss. Mm-mm. And that was less than a 24-hour build.
See, I got a Snapchat. It was like 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. They just started stripping it out.
And he ran before 10 o'clock the next night.
And he went to the lake and took the kids out on the boat. Then came to the show. He pulled in right at killing time. Right. They're like, why is he just getting here? And I kind of explained. I was like, well, they pulled it in last night, decided he wanted to do it. He was like, okay, that makes it a little bit different then.
Yeah.
First time driving, Mr. Tucker Baker, his little cousin Weston Dieters. Cars look good. There's 5 of those, 5 of the youth guys. I don't got the list, so I'm not sure who. I know Tucker got second.
Yep. Car looked really good except for the front of it. Looked like maybe a stub, and she's ready to go again.
I ain't even right sure if it's a stub. I think it might just be horns.
Really?
Yeah. It looks like it bent up, kind of the metric GM style. It started doing some weird stuff there, and I think it started maybe push back a little bit and up at the same time and kind of tuck that bumper in a little bit.
Want to thank Leon, Chad, all those guys. I had a blast. Appreciate it.
Well, I will tell you, we've been invited to Blizzard Bash.
Oh.
To come to Team Kansas's pit.
Oh, man.
And I wanted to look at him. You know how much shit we'd catch for that? Even though we like you.
Yeah.
But that's still that KUMU yuck.
I don't know if I might get in trouble for that.
I know. I do know that.
But if we go as the podcast, though,
that's different.
We're just doing research at that point.
R&D. R&D and bottom of some gold tops.
Which Mr. Markley had plenty of iced
gold tops.
Iced down. I was a good boy Friday night. Like I said, I had 5 beers. And Leon and Mr. Markley handed me a couple of them blue labels.
The old blue labels.
See,
that's enough to just quench your thirst.
Oh, them Ronas are good, boy.
I told you how I feel about Ronas when we were in Ohio. Yeah. Anything that you got to put fruit in.
I wouldn't put no fruit in them.
Those actually do taste better than the regular.
And Ronas. I will give a shout out to Bowling Green, their fair, whoever's cooking. That ribeye sandwich that I had.
I didn't get one of those.
Good. Because I did.
Leon was telling me how good they are.
Them shits was, man, over a 1/4 inch thick.
Yeah, I saw
folded in half. Oh. Whew. Even the bread was good because it had been touching the ribeye.
It's been touching the steak. It's kind of like you just finished your steak at Texas Roadhouse, and you just take that one last roll in that basket, and you just soak up all that juice.
Well, like I haven't been eating bread, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. No, I'm gonna have that.
It's my one get out of jail free card this week.
But no, I told him that I would like to make my way over their direction to hang out and
before.
Yes.
Before demo, before Blizzard Bash.
Which I got to get over there, and I got to get over there to Mr. Markley's at some point anyway.
Yes, you do.
He's got some stuff for me.
Yep.
Don't know what, but do we want to put a stamp on that one?
Yeah. Congratulations to everybody.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, you all deserve
Yes.
running your balls off, doing what you can do.
And if anybody wants to check it out, we've got almost all of it, I think, except for the Consi.
No, the Consi's on there,
Is it?
but the last half of the feature isn't on there because it will not upload. It
gotcha.
completely drained my battery trying to get it to load. AT&T service really sucks in Bowling Green. Even when I had a hotspot for a cell phone, that was US Cellular.
Really?
Yes. Cody Brown's. Thanks,
I
Cody.
I had a little bit of a issue Friday night. I think it was the beginning of the fourth or fifth heat. It just wouldn't start.
Yeah.
And I finally got it to go. But man, I'm working on a different way to do that.
It just takes money.
It's everything.
But
But let's put the stamp on that. Let's go to Utah.
that's right. Heber City, destructive behavior. Boys and girls, if you weren't there and you watched the feed, Mr. Brad Bowman, when we had him on earlier in the year, he kind of said he was going to drop a bomb.
And he did.
He dropped a big-ass bomb. How about 3 days, over $200,000 in payouts?
How crazy is that? Seriously, think about
200
that.
G's.
Think about it.
200 G's.
I've been talking to Mr. Dale Colbert. Both him and I are signed up for Bristol. Doing our best to be as supportive about that show as we can. I mean, it's all new, and there's going to be hiccups and all that stuff. Him and I, we want to go to Utah.
Yes.
Like,
We're going to Heber.
yes.
Not just Utah.
Right.
Because we've done that, and we're going to do it again this fall. But Heber City, the last weekend of July,
Yes.
all 3 days of just craziness.
Yeah, if I've got to wipe my schedule clean next year and sell my firstborn, we will figure out how to get out there for Heber next year.
Yeah.
Love Johnny's stuff. He is ridiculous whenever it comes to payouts as well.
Oh, yeah.
And he's always, hey, you all come to whatever show you want to come to.
Oh, yeah.
I want to get to Heber.
Yes.
I want to
Yes.
see that.
Yes.
Two of our big sponsors ran that shit.
That's right. Old Iron Wire. Because me and you had talked, even after we got back, last fall. The 80s wire, that's that big car, really bone stock,
Yeah.
gut and go, motor, rear end, no good parts. The old iron wire lets you throw your motor in it, lets you throw good rear end in it.
Yes.
Your shifters, your pedals, your everything.
It's the stock rules I like. And I love that they will literally drag whatever car out.
60s Mopar wagons.
Yes. Looked like it was in that number 2 spot, son. I'd never been so proud of somebody in my life.
I thought he had it. I
did too.
I texted him on Sunday, and I was like, dude, I swore you had that because I could have swore that dude was timed out.
Yep, that's what I thought too.
He's like, well, that's what I was hoping.
But right there, that proves to you, you take a person like Justin Broadhead, who isn't really in the limelight for his builds and driving.
No.
But the dude's been driving for 20 years.
Yeah.
So nobody sees that side of the Justin because everybody's like, oh, Broadhead decals this, and he's awesome at this designing and the graphics and stuff like that. And then wham, second Heber.
And then Chunk,
Yeah.
4th.
Yes.
Those two dudes,
They don't get enough credit on that end.
It is, but it's like a Utah thing. These dudes were in wagons.
Mm-hmm.
And they have been taking pages from Austin Johnson because I never seen him hit anybody in reverse.
Nope. They're still very restorable.
They could put a sub on the front and go again. And probably after that show, put a sub in the front and go again.
Are you as surprised as everybody else? Because I was talking to a couple other buddies, and they're like, "Man, you can't run those cars around here." They held up decent out there.
Yeah.
And I think it's the build, the rule set.
Mm-hmm. I'll agree with that.
Because did you see them on the trailer? Them cars look good.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They looked legit stock cars.
Mm-hmm. How they're supposed to be.
Yes,
out there
sir.
to those rules.
I liked the way that Justin did his doors. You know, everybody looks at he makes stickers and door wraps and roof signs and stuff like that. Go look at that car.
Mm-hmm.
There's some work in them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Chunk
I know he was just as mad as I was over putting that Chevy motor in that Mopar.
He admitted it on Track Shot Live too. Because Anthony asked him, he said, "Well, was that the Dodge motor in it?" And he said, "Oh no." He said, "Small block Chevrolet." And he didn't even want to say it, but he did. He
I know how it is, buddy, man. I'm with you 100%.
The only thing that I saw an issue with Chunk, he had a motor mount delink kit. Motor was sitting in there instead of being 12 and 6. I'm gonna guess it was more like 2 and 8, man. it was a little sideways. And I told him,
and still run it down to 4th.
Yep, I told him, good job, good run. I said, you had that motor mount delete kit, and he said, yeah. He said, I'm not much of a welder. He said, and it showed. So, speaking of Chunk,
let's holler at that old boy.
Let's holler at him. Be right back.
Since Justin has been on board with us at Hard Nose, we have figured out how much Broadhead Decals means to the sport of demolition derby. His great quality parts are seen from coast to coast and everywhere in between.
But he can do more than just derby products. Your everyday business may need some pep in its step with new banners or stickers. And just give him an idea and let him run with it. Whether it's business related or just want to look badass in the winner circle, let Broadhead Decals work for you.
Well, we had some questions about Heber.
Yep.
We knew a guy.
How about Triple B's T's very own Mr. Nathan Chunk Broadhead pulling off the 4th place in the old Iron Wire at Heber City? What's up, dude?
Nothing much.
Well, I'm going to start it off real simple with a big question. Did you have fun?
Oh, yeah. That's probably one of the funnest, fastest heats I've ever been a part of. Everywhere you looked, everywhere you moved, you were getting hit, and it was fast.
Well, we were watching it, and I love the fact that you and your brother both took wagons and did not use them like a wagon whatsoever.
So there's a reason I didn't use mine like I should have, and that's because as soon as I was pulling into the arena when they were lining us up, I watched the weld on my fucking motor pop. So the whole game plan went out the window. I'm like, I can go out there and I can try to finesse it, but this heat's going to be way too fast. Or I can just send it, and I tried to as long as I could.
Well, you started it off with a half track, side to side, right off the rip to just get it going. So I think the pace was. I think you set the pace.
He did 100%. You set the pace on that one.
Oh yeah. When we were sitting out in lineup, I had one of my buddies come up and say, "Do you have a target?" And I said, "I sure do." And that was the first car I hit. He started some shit back in UTC a couple of years ago, and I didn't get a chance to finish it on the track. So when I seen he drew my heat, I'm like, well, that's my car.
Well, and honestly, regardless of what went on there or how all that started, I love the fact that you were taking care of it on the track.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have no hard feelings outside the track. It's all fun and games for me, but if you hit me, you're going to get hit back if I can.
Love it.
Exactly.
And that's how that should work. I love it.
Well, dude, what you and Justin took for that class, do you enjoy that build to their rules that they run out there for that class?
I do, and the reason being is I still like the aftermarket parts. I like, the cable shifter. I still like being able to run my slider and all that fancy dancy shit that everybody likes to run. So it allows us to do that with kind of a lighter build, which when you're a freaking dad of 4, you don't have time to build those heavy cars that everybody else is taking. So it still gives me a chance to go out there and have fun and build a competitive car.
Well, and like you said, that is my rule set. That's my favorite. You can run your aftermarket steering column, your shifter, your slider, your pinion brake. You can have a little bit better rear end and stuff under them, which those cars should have had 8 3/4 under them, so they were already ahead of the game there.
Yes, sir. And then next year, odds are going to take the wagon back, except we're going to throw a new sub under it because I guess when you hit a car that's on the K-rail, it tends to hurt the frame a little bit. So we're going to take that one back, and when I was talking to Brad and asking him, what should I do, we looked at it after the Derby, and he goes, well, you can do one of two things. You can pull it and plate it, or you can re-sub it. So I've been on the hunt for a fresh sub, and I'm going to pull the motor and tranny out of it and send the motor to Chris Schrade and have him go through it and, just make sure everything's nice and neat.
If only you were just a little bit closer.
I know. I wish I was.
Because those Y-framers, they give those away around here.
Really?
Yeah, pretty
Maybe
much.
Me and Justin need to come out that way.
Well, I can tell you right now that I sold 2 of them that the subs on them were spotless.
That Polara.
That Polara and the New Yorker. And I sold the pair, the cars, not just the subs. I sold them for $800.
Are you shitting me? You're lucky to find a Y-framer here in Utah for under $1,000.
But
just one.
That's the
Not
deal.
2, just one.
Talking to Brad and talking to Johnny and all the guys that do the promoting out there, that build is very suitable for those cars where you guys really like them, but to our rules around here, they ain't worth a damn.
Well, I just cannot. For what they're letting 9802 do, they'll drive completely through the front end of a Y-framer here because you can't
100%.
You can't close the Y off. You've got to have a space in the sub. It just doesn't work. I mean, we've tried it.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's tried it around here. It will not, because you don't know how bad I wanted to build that Polara.
Oh yeah. I can imagine. They're fun cars to build. It's just, I mean, even here until they came out with old iron wire Mopars, which I'm a Mopar guy, like they're garbage in the rule set, the heavy builds. Like I love them to death, but they're not there.
I just hate to hear a Mopar guy admit something like that.
Oh, don't worry. I was bitching the whole time going through tech that I had a Chevy motor sitting in the car.
Oh man, I did the exact same thing, so I can't say too much.
Yes, but
and all Justin could say is he could sit there and laugh and goes, "Just wait till it's over." And I'm like, yeah, all right. I'll wait till it's over. And it surprised me a little bit, but I still like the wrap up of the Mopar.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm telling you. I think I've got my transmission situation figured out with my Mopar, so I'd say that's going back in a car next year.
Heck yeah.
Now, you told me when we talked last week on personal phone that you said you weren't going to run next year. Did your outcome from this weekend change your mind a little bit?
The outcome really changed that. I really had no intentions on running. And it was because I helped run their social media team, and I wanted my undivided attention to be on that because I knew we were going to be changing from a 2-day show to a 3-day show. And like some of the stuff that Brad and I had talked about, it was going to take a lot of my attention away. But with that car still being good, if I can get a fresh sub under it this winter and not have to worry about it,
yeah,
like I'll still be good.
And the bomb, you just said it, the bomb was dropped this past weekend that is going to be moved from a 2 to a 3-day show with payouts over $200,000.
And that's the bottom line. That's no less than 200,000 from what I'm told. It could be more than that if they find the right sponsors and such, from what I understand. But 200,000 is the lowest it'll be.
Dude,
so,
I would junk my wife for $200,000 in a car.
Yeah, it should be good. And the best part about it is Brad and Ryan, both at the drivers' meeting, came out and they were asking for drivers to put in their input. What can we do? What do you guys want to do? Like, we're here for you guys. We want the show to benefit you guys. You guys tell us what you want, and we'll kind of figure out a plan.
Sounds like they got it figured out.
Yeah. And those guys have salvaged that Derby from what it was. It was Johnny and Gumby were doing a decent job with it, and then when Brad and Ryan took it over, I don't know, I mean, just the way that they treat the drivers and their knowledge of what they would want and how they would want to be treated as a driver, like, it's changed a lot of the derbies around here. There's a lot of derbies that now look to Brad and Ryan, who have been promoting for 3 years, and go, okay, we can implement that in our derby.
Because like that, those rules are probably about as heavy as you can get in Utah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of people that are like, I don't want to build that. And they don't. They go to the old iron wire. But I was really shocked because there was 56 cars signed up for Heber in that weld class, and we had 25. 25 cars showed up for that full weld class.
Whew.
Man, that is just such.
Yeah.
It's so heavy.
It's so heavy, but there's so many shows.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like any of your all shows out there pay little.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple that pay $5,000, but that's still a lot of freaking money to me.
Oh yeah.
We've got shows around here that the 5,000 to win shows out there, by the time they pay down to fifth, it's more than the total of 3 classes at some of these shows around here.
Oh, yeah. I laughed because the year that I won Heber in 2008, I got $2,000. And I went and ran UTC in, I think it was like 2016, and I finished 11th place and walked away with damn near $2,000. I'm like, holy shit. Where's that kind of money when I got first?
That sounds like me. I'm always a day late and a dollar short.
Yeah.
So let's get into the build of that car. I know that you're a father of 4, so your time's pretty sparingly, and I did get to see some pretty badass pictures of some of the little ones sitting in there with you while you were tinkering with the car and stuff. How does your support system work around your house?
Honestly, it's awesome. I could not do this without my wife. My wife literally slaved herself over getting shirts done for the vendor booth, plus helping me work on my car. Like, she is amazing, and I could not do this sport without her. And my kids now, I mean, my daughter's old enough, she's driving. She drove in the youth heat, so building her a car, she's turned out to love it.
And got best
And
of paint.
have those kids come out and help and learn. I mean, Dad gets a little testy every now and then. You can't find a wrench or something's going wrong. But to have them out there with me, I could not ask for anything more.
Well, that's the stuff right there that we love to hear. So how old is the one that run in the youth class?
She is 15.
And what car did she take?
She ran probably one of your favorites in our body.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh, I already knew what it was. I just wanted you to say it.
Yep.
He's just going to sit here and
That
rub
thing
this in my
has been
face.
Through, let's see. She's drove it. This was her third time, and I've drove it, and she's going to drive it next Saturday, or this Saturday.
UTC has got
Utah
a
County.
UTC's got a youth show this Saturday.
She actually ran the powder puff in Heber. She last year she seen the trophies that they had for him. She comes up to me and she's like, "Dad, did you see that pink trophy?" I said, "Brindley, I designed it, honey." She goes, "You did?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I designed that." She goes, "That thing's awesome. You think I can drive in the powder puff?" And we went back and forth on it, and I told her, I'm like, "You know what? If you want to run the powder puff, run the powder puff." I said it wasn't too crazy last year. And it was a hell of a lot different this year because it was really crazy compared to what it was last year.
It was.
But did she have fun?
Oh, yeah, she had fun. And that's the thing. I told her as we were going to the arena, I said, "Look, if you're not having fun, it's not worth doing it." I said, all the time and money we put into this, if it's not fun, don't do it.
Yep.
And she goes, "But Dad, it's fun." She's hooked, and like we just bought her 68 Plymouth Fury so that she can run it in the old Iron Wire Youth, whether that be Camas, Heber, or May Mania, she'll run it. So we'll take the 360 that's in her car now when it's all said and done, go through it, put a timing chain gears in it, new gaskets, the whole deal, and put it in my cradle and everything and put it in that Fury.
That's what I'm talking about. I do. I know that Derek and I had talked about this a little bit, and I wanted to bring it up on here. It's really cool that you all have got this whole little Broadhead family, family circle kind of going on there with the Derby stuff. I love it. Whether it be your dad and them, going with you all to these shows and supporting you, and Justin, him always tinkering and building and doing the stickers and you doing the shirts and also running, and now your daughter's running and stuff. That's what keeps this sport alive. And I wanted to commend you all on, I guess, the closeness of your all's family. It's awesome. I love seeing it.
Oh, yeah, we love it. And the fun thing about it is Justin literally lives right around the corner from me. So if I need something or he needs something, we can walk over and help each other. Like
with
I had
flip-flops
Tom
on.
Russell and Jack Pekin and one of my other best friends, Zach Huggard, show up and help me replace a tranny and get my car ready Friday. And as soon as we were done with mine at like 10 o'clock in the morning, we walked over and helped Justin get across the finish line. So,
well, that right there in itself is just, that's awesome. And and whenever you get fed up with your kids, you can be like, "Hey, you need to go help Uncle Justin."
Yep. Oh, my second to youngest every day. Can I go over to Justin's? Can I go over to Justin's? I'm like, he's probably getting sick of you, but yeah, go to Justin's.
I can't see too much bothering you, either one of you all, really.
No. We're usually pretty laid back. I'm a little more stressful with my kids. But Justin, man, he's great with them. He lets them tinker with stuff that I wouldn't necessarily let them tinker with. And he's a lot more patient than I am.
Well, that's because I don't know that you can get him riled up, because I mess with him a lot. And I can't even get a rise out of the guy.
there's certain things that if you poke him the wrong way, you'll know, and it's mostly about sandbagging.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. Keep coming with it. Keep coming with it.
Sandbagging and team driving. He was pretty heated after watching one of the heats in Heber.
He doesn't look like a guy I would want to
You
get.
can't team drive. I'm like, dude, calm down. It's a fucking derby. I'm like, it's gonna happen.
He doesn't look like the type of guy that I'd really want to see mad, though.
No, when he gets angry, you don't want to fuck with him.
I'm glad he's on our side.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Oh yeah, yep.
Well, dude, I'm going to ask,
It,
how did you get started with Triple B's tees?
So for the longest time, I told Dustin, I'm like, man, you got to start T-shirts, man. You have to. He kept telling me about going to all these trade shows and seeing all these printers and everything, and he's like, well, I don't really want to do it. Why don't you start that? And this was during COVID. And I, started talking to my wife about it, thinking she'd be like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea, and being a smart ass. She's like, no, we should really do it. I'm like, wait, serious? And she's like, yeah, we should do it. So, we started playing around with it, and I look back on some of our first designs, I'm like, holy shit, people really bought that. Just because, they were so basic and everything, and, I put in a lot of time and a lot of effort on learning stuff. And, if you go look at my first designs as opposed to where I am now, I'm plenty happy. I still have a lot to learn. But honestly, it's so much fun being able to design people's shirts and then going to the derbies and seeing them.
Well,
It's awesome. Just in the drivers' meeting at Heber and even Dixie, half of the people were wearing shirts bought from us and designed by us. So, it's awesome. And that's one reason I love going to Gold Rush, too, is because there was a lot of shirts that I designed down there.
Well, I know that all the stuff that you yourself or Justin has designed, whenever we show our listeners or our buddies and Derek and I even sending stuff back and forth, it's like every time you all send us something,
It's even better.
It's more badass than the last.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I don't know how they can keep up in this game.
Yeah.
Like those last set of shirts that you made with the new style Ford on it and stuff, we had people messaging us and they're like, where were these at? And I'm like, I don't know where he keeps coming up with this shit.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I had talked to Derek, and I'm like, man, we're only selling so many of these orange ones. I said, to me, I think it might be my design. I'm like, let's try something fresh. I'll draw something up, this week, and we'll get it drawn up. And literally, as soon as we put it on the website, within the first couple hours, we had more orders than we did for the first set combined.
Ding! He was like, already selling them. I was like, what? He was like, already selling them.
Well, yep. and that's what, whatever you message us and you're like, hey, can I do this or do that? We do not care what you do.
That's why we talked the other day, and I said, I don't give a shit. Steven, don't either. Just do it.
Oh, yeah. And I just like to call and ask permission before I do.
Hey, guess what? You got permission.
You've got unlimited permission. That is not something you have to ask for.
Unless you're holding us out on the street corner, then we'd like to have some permission on that part.
Well, and honestly, if you're
My
getting
wife
enough,
got you guys. She put you together a goodie bag of everything that was left over from the vendor booth to give away at the state fair here in Utah. So when you guys come down, she has some bags for you that have some goodies in it that you guys can give away.
T-shirt cannons.
I've got one.
I know.
I don't know how you're gonna get it out
Well,
there.
the
can you get
slingshot
that
one.
on a plane?
I've got the slingshot one.
Oh, you don't think they'd like me taking a compressed air gun on a plane?
I mean, there might be some struggle getting it on there, but I think you could do it.
What is? I'll keister it.
You're not keystering it.
But man, we appreciate everything that you have done to help us grow to what we are now. We can't thank you enough. I mean, it's crazy. I love going to these local shows, and you'll walk around, you'll see a It's a hard-nosed shirt. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, where'd you get that? I don't even have that.
Oh, yeah. We appreciate everything you guys do for us. I noticed, every time we post a sell, you guys are reposting it, and that helps us. And, we truly appreciate all that you guys have given to us.
I'm actually trying to talk my work into getting a hold of you all to have our next round of shirts made through you, because the generic ass shirts that we have now look stupid.
Yeah, have them hit us up.
Because they're like, well, I thought they made derby stuff. And I was like, they make everything.
Yes, and that's what I told my wife our next venture is I want to get out into the local businesses here in town and try to branch out so I'm not just fixated on derby and I can grow the business even more. Just because the end goal is to be working for myself and only myself.
Yes.
By the end of it. Something kind of like Hill Job has.
And that right there will set you up where you got more time with those babies and you can focus on your hobbies as well as theirs. And that's what life's all about right there, buddy.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But I do got to tell you guys something that Justin told me the other day that's going to bum you guys out.
Okay.
And that's if you guys would have came to Heber, one of you would have been driving his wagon.
It wouldn't have been Derek because me and him would have been fist fighting over that.
I cheat, fool.
He told me the other day as we were sitting out there looking at it after it was junked, he goes, if Steve or Derek would have came, they probably would have been driving this. I'm like, I'm going to make sure I tell him that.
He's getting a text as soon as we hang up.
Yeah, I was super proud of the way he drove in that heat. He freaking kicked some serious ass.
That he did.
Well, what got me, and honestly, you working with what you had, with the motor flopping around in it, and then you had Justin on the other side. The dude's head was on a swivel.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
have you watched any of him when he hits the barrier? Like, he hits the barrier like 6 times, and I told him he looks like a goddamn rag doll. Because every time he hits, his legs and arms flail. I'm like, dude, you gotta hold on to something.
Well, he kept trying to hold on to the A-pillar.
Yeah, see, I do the opposite. I usually hang on to the middle bar that's in the freaking center of the car, but this time it was a stupid chain. But he hangs on to that outside pillar, and I'm like, no, someone could hit me there.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I was like, you're going to lose some digits, bro.
But man,
I will say we got very lucky with our heat draw.
Well, and, honestly, you can, anybody can go back and forth on that all they want. But, dude, you all drove,
you had to drive them.
Yeah, it didn't. Well, I don't know that it mattered what heat you drew because the way you all drove, like I said, you set the pace for that heat. So I don't think it would have been any different if you would have drawn another heat.
Mm-mm.
No, and I agree with that. It was funny because there was one lone Wyoming kid in our heat, and when we had staged our cars in impound, I was talking to him a little bit, and then we did heat draws. And I was showing him who was all in our heat, and he goes, I'm in there with all Utah boys. I'm going to get my ass kicked. I said, dude, I can promise you something. There's no gangbang going on here. We're out to fuck shit up. And that's what the heat was. And then after the Derby, when he won, I'm like, see, and you were worried that you were going to fuck get gangbang. I said, you kicked all of our asses.
Man, I'm not going to lie. I thought Justin won.
Oh, there's part of me that thinks he did and they screwed up on the timing, but he freaking drove his ass off and he took second and he's happy with it. So.
Well, I know. And like I said, you can go, what if this or what if that forever. Yeah. But it just, whenever I was watching it, I was like, holy shit, Justin just won this bitch. And then, I was like, oh.
Justin didn't win this.
He should have hid behind the other cars is what he should have done.
I don't see you guys being the hiding type.
No, and honestly, if Justin would have got that thing fired back up, he wouldn't have sat there. The only reason he didn't move is because he couldn't get it running. If he would have got it running, I know him, and he would have full tracked him. Even if it destroyed every freaking part on his car, he would have put it into
But
it.
that's why we love watching that. It's because that's the mentality out there through everybody, whether it be, Casey Johnson, Marty, Brody. It doesn't matter. Like,
If you're running Utah, you got to be half remedial.
Yes.
I'm just saying that.
You've got to have your head on a swivel, because if you don't, you're going to get teed off on.
Well, man, we appreciate you getting on here. We appreciate everything that you've done for us. Our listeners, they are still loving the products. We appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to jump on here and talk to us.
And I know me and you have talked, so if you want to work some of that Heber magic for next July, let her fly.
Yes,
buddy.
sir. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that Brad and Ryan can get you guys out there. We need more people out there like you guys that are going to promote us and get some of these Utah guys' names out there, like the Johnsons and Parkers and like all these young guys that are coming up and just putting on a show.
Well, I know that our social media stuff is finally taken way off, so hopefully by then we'll have a leg to stand on and we can show them some numbers.
Hell yeah.
But, man, we appreciate it. We'll let you get back to doing what you do, and we will catch up with you later, sir.
All righty, guys. You have a good night.
You
Later,
too,
brother.
buddy. Well, right there is how you do that.
Yep.
They are such good dudes.
Good, yeah. Thank God Justin grew his beard back. Because he looked like a 7'5", 12-year-old without it. He's going to kick me in the nuts come September. But killer show.
Yeah, we will touch more on it.
Because you haven't even got to watch all of it.
No.
You've only got to see some bits and pieces.
And we are going to have to pre-record in one.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to have to do 2
Yep.
this weekend. So let me get Heber watched. We'll start the next one off with full-blown, full-tilt Heber stuff. I know that we've got some derbies going on right now.
Yeah, as we are recording.
Adams County.
Yes. Minden, Illinois.
Yep.
Southern number 9 Memorial Tour.
Yep.
I think they've got one more.
Yep. Yes. I think
Something
so.
in August
Yeah,
somewhere.
I think so.
I've actually talked to Austin. We're going to get him back on.
The cool thing about Austin, we can get his ass over here. Like,
That's right.
He'll come to us.
Yeah, he's an hour.
Yeah.
Before the Southern number 9 Terry Memorial, which
'Cause
is
that
going
shit is
to
gonna
be...
get turned.
Oh, my God.
That's gonna be a good one. Just from the guys that I've talked to on Snap and everything else, just crazy.
Yeah, I've got told that there's people moving schedules to go run that show.
Yeah, 100%.
So, dudes, Triple B's Tees, hook him up on Facebook. He's got online stores. If you don't want our products, you might want a Casey Seeloft shirt.
Yes.
Or you might want
Live, laugh, toaster bath.
And you don't have to just be derby. You own a lawn care
You might
business.
want an EPR shirt.
Yes.
You might
Party
want a
mode shirt.
Party mode shirt. I mean, whatever kind of shirt you want, they'll hook it up.
And of course, what I really liked is Mr. Cody Hendren and Mr. Blake Holtz had brand new Broadhead decal roof signs on last weekend.
And Broadhead is actually going to redo them.
He's going to redo them.
Yep, because he didn't have the holographic that they wanted. Mm-hmm. So he just made it look holographic. I don't know if that makes sense.
He did some of that eye trickery.
Yep. I mean, they look killer, but he's going to...
Redo them and send them out.
Yep.
It's called customer service. That's our Utah brethren customer service. So, dudes, hit those shows. Hit those local shows up. Support Support.
Yes,
Don't just
sir.
have to support us. Support the promoters, support the drivers, support the people that are putting this sport out there for you guys to watch, whether it's Track Shot Live, whether it's Full Contact Derby TV,
Whether it's Hard Nosed Derby Podcast,
or DerbyNation.tv.
TSL.
Yes, get them all on. Support them. Watch them. Watch them.
I probably need to start on my Bristol car.
You think?
Need to figure out what I'm taking.
Because that's right around the corner, dudes.
Ooh, got to give a shout out to my teammate. She ran over the weekend.
Oh, did she?
Yep. She had a mini car, a school bus,
I saw she was on a school bus.
and a full-size car.
I saw this. Yeah, she did figure 8.
Yep.
Little car.
Uh-huh.
School bus. And I didn't see how she did in the big car.
I think she got 6th, but I think there was a shitload of cars out there.
Load them.
She said she had a blast. All hands on deck for Bristol.
Uh-oh. Go time.
Which
You ever going to tell anybody when it's that time when you're going to tell people who your partner is?
oh yeah, well, she actually got a video over the weekend. She's going to send it to us. She is decked out in hard-nosed apparel and name dropped the shit out of us.
Uh-oh.
I actually sent her our logo so that she could get it all up on there.
And thank you, Mr. Clayton Ransom, 179X Punisher, throwing us out on Track Shot Live.
Yep.
We appreciate the shit out of that. So that's one of them people that just support the sport, man.
Oh, dude. He cracks me out. That dude cracks me out.
Yes. Yep. So we'll end on support. Got any last words?
Nope.
Make junk, boys. Fisher built. Fuel tanks are the next generation of fuel tanks on the demolition derby parts market to date. With stainless steel construction, every tank is internally welded, braced, baffled, and pressure tested, with 2 standard size options available.
Fisher built tanks have you covered. From your local county fair shows all the way to your national level events, where you need maximum fuel capacity and structural integrity to get you to the end. If you are in need of a next level design tank, or you just need a second fuel tank for your new setup, give Fisher Built a chance to earn your business. You won't be disappointed.